Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackard,
And I'm Leonka Reina.
and today we're talking about how to 10x your life with Marilyn Alauria. And I'm really excited for this conversation. I've been reading her blog, and she speaks our language, you guys. So get ready to 10x your life with Marilyn. Marilyn, welcome.
Hi, guys. And it's Alauria, just so you know, but it's
That's funny.
not a big deal at all. I've actually did a podcast once and I did not even know the woman's name because I'm so bad at names. And I called her something else during the podcast. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
What? I'll just keep working with the first names.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to be here. I don't know. I've talked to Leonka. I haven't met you yet, but I've been feeling into you guys' energy and it's just so beautiful. And I just want to thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here with both of you and with everybody here.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying so.
Yeah, well, this is an advanced group of energy practitioners. And I know that sometimes you kind of play on that fence with business, but when I read your blog, I was like, she really gets this. Like, it's really about, dissolving all the constructs that's keeping us from choosing our best life. So I want to start, I guess let's go ahead and start right there with tell us a little bit about your work and how you work with people to help them 10x their life.
Yeah. So I think I'll go back. I'll just do a brief summary of like where I've come from.
Yes, I want that.
And then if we want to dive deeper, we can. And
Yes,
obviously,
please.
everybody who's listening, I want everybody to gain something from this, which I'm sure that. So I started out in television production. I actually have an Emmy up there for my work.
Awesome.
Thank you. It's like right there.
I
And
worked in radio and television for 17 years. Yeah.
yeah, and we talked about that, and I totally understood it when you were talking.
Yes.
And I basically went into it because I was ignoring my soul, what I really wanted to do. So I did the thing that was safer, right? What we
Oh,
think is
yeah.
safer, and then we end up becoming miserable and unhappy. And during that time, my abilities were opening up as well. And I was doing a lot of therapy because I was struggling with a lot of trauma. And through that, I found more and more and more of my calling. And it went into acting first, because that's really what I wanted to do. And then while I was acting, the spirits started showing up, deceased people, all this craziness was happening, which I'm sure a lot of people experience because everybody's sensitive and has these gifts, and you don't know how to like manage your world. And through it, I started studying how to use my gifts. And it wasn't like the internet today where it's like all over the place. So I really learned from my guides. And I started doing readings for free, and they were so good that people started paying me. And then I had a list of people. And I came home to my soul, basically, is how I did that. I came home to really doing my life's work. And really now what's happening after doing readings for so long, and I got tired of people rendering themselves powerless for reading. Really got tired of it. Like, should I go to law school? Should I have this baby? Should I get married? These are big questions. I really wanted to teach people how to do it for themselves. So I started
Yes.
teaching people how to do it for themselves. And now what's happening is I'm teaching people who are running a business or who want to have a business or who are retiring from one business. No matter what age you are, you're done with one career and you're moving into your mission work. So I'm helping all those people to do it. And also the biggest thing that I teach in Next Level Living, which is my signature program, is how to trust yourself. And we all know, it's so important to learn how to trust yourself, to take action, to be entrepreneurs, to do what you guys are doing. People think it's easy. It's not that easy.
Right?
But it's what you love to do.
It is what you love to do. However, there are some late nights and there's some early mornings, and there are things that you may not have your usual team that you did in corporate to call on. So it's you, and you just have to keep choosing. You have to keep choosing for sure.
Exactly. And not look at things as failures or,
Yeah.
I'm going through a couple of things right now with team. And I'm like, usually when I go through those things, it hits me hard.
Yes.
But I'm really starting to recognize, as always, this is happening for me. And why is this happening for me? And then figuring it out. So that's my short little story.
Yeah. But what I really get that you do is really help take out like, yes, it might be trust, but the method in which you get them to really trust that they know that they can, it really seems like that does take a lot of conversations and some practices to get to that level.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you share some of those, like, if somebody comes to you and they're just like, "Oh, I tried to do a launch and I failed again," and this is kind of their story where they keep like putting their heart and their soul and their passion out there into the world, especially in the way people want to buy. How do you help somebody like that where they just like, I'm a failure, and that almost becomes them, not their launches?
such a good question. And I feel like one of the things that I teach is how to use your instrument. And what I mean by that is the way that I see, or the way I get intuitive hits, or the way that I hear is different than when you see, hear, how you feel. Many people who are running a business are looking at a lot of other people and comparing themselves to other people. And those other people are not them, and they can't be doing it in that way.
Yes, and I would say that's even more compounded in the last 10 years, just because we have social media and all these places to compare ourselves with.
Even the last 2 to 3 years, because
Yeah.
the buying is changing a lot.
Uh-huh.
You guys are seeing it, but I'm seeing it a lot. The way people used to buy, they're not buying anymore. So really how I work with that is getting people to remember why they're doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
Oh,
really organically speak about it and just
Yeah.
talk about it. So I used to be a reader. I'm going to go real quick because I know we have a lot to talk about, but I used to be the reader that you couldn't even get in touch with me. You couldn't even talk to me. There was like these gatekeepers, right? And like, I remember somebody redid my website that they were like, I don't even know how to contact you, because I'd gotten to a place where I just did not want anybody talking to me.
Wow.
Now I'm so organically involved in bringing people into my programs. One, the buying has changed, but two, I want to know you. It's a different type of business. So
Yes.
I
yeah.
would have people. So for me, it's the why, like why, and it's not the why you're doing it for everybody else. Why are you doing it for yourself? Like, why are you two doing this? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we could easily tell you about that, but
I'm happy to talk about that because I think the conversation's
I feel
important.
like people don't know their whys. They
Yeah.
don't even know themselves enough to get to the why within. I know somebody on the line, is really curious about becoming a pet intuitive, right? And she knows that she can already do this thing, but to put herself out in the world, there's kind of this gap or this leap to go there, right? So
I get a lot of people like that. Go.
I think that that's because
I had one
you can
in my
correct me
session. Uh-huh.
if I'm wrong, but I really think that that's because they're not working on their internal why.
Yeah.
So what does it take to really get to your big why?
It's
If it's not already, I mean, I think for us, we already knew.
Oh,
know?
yeah, we know. And basically, it's very similar
we've
to
also
you.
been fighting it
Yes.
for the last 12 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I knew that I was going to create this ease in my body. Like, I knew I was going to be sick, and Spirit knew that I could not operate in this 1 foot in, 1 foot out anymore. And my heart so loves this work. I love sharing this information. I love finding more information and the research. I love what I do.
And loving the community and learning from the community. It's just quite the journey.
Yeah.
And I think that my why is, yes, I want to change all these lives. I want to have more friends. I want to grow my gifts. And I also want to create wealth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to answer that, and it's 2 parts. And I'm very interactive. So if anybody wants to put anything in the chat about their
great.
takeaways or anything they have or any questions, I know it's your, but I always like to work with people that are on it because it's the energy. So I love what you said, both of you said about the things. There's a couple of things. One thing is, I'll say this first. I get a lot of healers, coaches, teachers, people that are teaching their own unique abilities, right? So as much as you're an animal intuitive and you're studying with somebody and possibly getting certified, They don't have your life experiences, and you're bringing that to your brand. So you want to get really clear as to like why you started studying animal communication. What about it is exciting you? What about it is making you want to go out into the world? And you said something interesting, Lucinda, which was you said it caused a lot of unease in my body. And we tend to do the thing that we think is easier, but it's not. And
No.
we end up getting sick, or we're depressed, or we hit walls. So a lot of times I want people to know why they're doing it, which I love what you said, wealth. It's besides helping other people, it's wealth. It's having freedom. It's being able to live wherever you desire. When you put all those components together, the outside noise goes away.
Right.
So when the things that we term as failures happen in the business, if you continue to come back and say, well, what didn't work and why didn't it work? And what do I need to change? And you remember why you're passionate about it, it shifts the conversation, the inner dialogue, and then you start coming up with more solutions on how to do things. And like, so right now I'm selling, we're going to talk about 10X, which is really important because I shifted that 2 years ago. And my signature program, trying to figure out the sales system to it, has been challenging. And we're getting people in, and sometimes we have a lot of people and sometimes we don't. And with each thing, each time I fall on my face or it doesn't work, I recommit in a whole new way. And through the recommitment, I make space for solution. I don't want people giving up on their dreams. And I know you guys feel the same way. Like, I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of hoping somebody will chime in the chat here. Somebody said, I really enjoy Marilyn's rebel nature.
Yeah.
So I did have a session on Sunday in which my client still had the exact same thing that Jen just said. Has that block, knows that they have this really great gifts, but just has that block about putting themselves out there. What is it about that today that you're seeing, and what is the thing that maybe we can, because I know she's going to listen on replay, and other people can benefit from this. Are you giving as a little bit of advice around that?
Okay, so there's a lot that I can say with that. And I'm going to start with first, anything that gets in the way of growing your psychic gifts, it's not because you can't see, it's not because you can't hear, it's your mind chatter.
Yep.
So I work with people with imagination and creativity, and I teach them how to go in and figure out how they're seeing, how they're hearing, how they're feeling, how they're sensing and knowing, right? So if you're going out as a healer, as an animal communicator, as a psychic reader, and if you are trying to do it like Jane out there, you're going to struggle. So when people come to me and they're struggling with how they're getting information or how to put themselves out there, I can't remember the exact question because I got into a lot of energy of it. I really, again, bring it into like them learning their instrument, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. How are they seeing? How are they healing? How are they feeling? Because when you dial in your gifts, you just know, no matter what, these are my gifts. And you have to put them out in the world because you recognize that they're given to you and you've got to share them. Does that answer that question for the client?
I hope so.
What was she struggling with? If you could say it again.
She knew she had this, psychic ability. She knew that she is supposed to be doing more. She is still kind of struggling with what's her purpose, but also has trouble putting herself out there in the world, right? Like, doesn't want to do the social media. It feels like maybe that might be the thing, but. Yeah, that.
So I'd like to talk to that about
courage.
That.
Okay.
Yeah. So I see this a lot because people are like, a lot of spiritual people, they're very like quiet and they don't want to put themselves out in social media. When you're doing what you love to do, you don't mind doing it, putting it out in social media. She's not going to know her purpose until she's out doing it.
Yeah.
Not until she's out doing it. The other thing too is I can guarantee you she's comparing herself to other people. So when I was a reader, in the very beginning stages, there wasn't a lot of people to study with. We would sit in circle and do readings, right? I get a lot of information. I get downloads. The person next to me would just get like a word. She denied what she got because she wasn't like the rest of us.
Oh.
And her word was so powerful. We were like, what are you doing? she stopped her progress. She stopped doing what she could do. Stop comparing yourself to other people. My downloads for one person is going to piss them off and annoy the heck out of them. The one sentence that somebody else gives is going to be the perfect thing for that person. Find your audience,
Right.
Yes.
And you get courage, as you know, I think you said it, Jenith, right? Am I saying
Yes.
that?
Jennifer.
You said it because you don't get courage. People wait, I'm going to get over the fear. I'm going to get over the fear. No, you're going to get over the fear when you're doing it.
Yes.
And that's the
And I love that you said when you are so passionate, when you are doing your work, it doesn't feel. I'm paraphrasing, but that daunting task of social media goes away. It subsides, and
It subsides.
And I can say
to work.
yeah, I mean, Jennifer and I, both. I'm a really private person, so for me to do social media, it was the last thing I wanted to do when I'm out with my family or to do any of that stuff. But I also know that this work changes lives. And I also know that if I invite more people to come and sit with us today for this conversation, that people will be forever changed. And so that is where I'm motivated. And so that's what made it easier for me to share. Right. So that I get past it. I'm over it. I don't even know why I had that much drama, but it was there. It definitely was there.
I mean, there is a courage when you're going into the land of the unknown. There is this courage when you're out of your comfort zone. And I think there's even the courage to let go when you're out of your comfort zone. Do you want to talk a little bit about new energies and new things?
I do, and I want to talk about that. And unfortunately, I have an elderly dog, so I'm going to take you all with me because I think she's ringing the bell to go out.
Okay.
I am not a perfectionist, so hopefully you guys aren't either.
Oh, that's why we have the non-judgment, loving community that we are. I love it. I love it so much.
So I want to talk first about the social media thing, and then I want to go back to your question. Unfortunately, I got a little distracted, but I do want to talk about social media real quick because what I do with people is when they're struggling with social media, that's when I keep having them dial in the passion as to why they're doing what they're doing, to stop talking like the other people out there and to really just start talking about what you want to talk about. And there's so many marketers that, you have to do this many reels, this many posts, this many stories, you have to do it this way, that way, and all this stuff. And really just put stuff out there. I don't care if I put my German Shepherd out there and I'm getting 75,000, views. Who cares? It's going to bring people to my site.
Sure.
So we talk about the energy. I don't worry about the energy of getting it programmed and right. I just do things the way that I want to do them, and that's it.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to that question you asked me. I'm so sorry I got distracted, and thank you everybody for understanding.
Oh,
We're totally fine with all this. We actually start this show live and we're putting on makeup and everybody's watching us and the whole shebang.
We're just a loving community without the judgment. In fact, one time we had a guest speaker. She goes, "I've got to go to the bathroom." She did not take the camera with her, but she was like, "I'll be right back." And we just held the space and kept talking.
We did.
It was too cute. We laughed. We're like, "Yeah, we're definitely that live show."
Yeah. And I think, people stay for it if it's worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people can receive that. We're humans.
Plus, everything that goes through my head is sort of like a joke sometimes. So there's a lot of humor that sometimes can happen here.
There it is. It's fun. It definitely keeps it light for some of these bigger conversations.
What was the question that you asked? And I want to go to
so basically, she was having trouble putting herself out there. Social media was one of the ones.
Right. And then you asked a question, Janet,
about comfort zone. And
there you go.
Yeah. And these new energies and how to have courage or build courage even to do things that's totally outside your box.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the energy, what do you mean? Are you talking about what's going on in the universe right now, or what are you talking?
No, I'm saying their energy within, when they're just like, I can't.
It's a contraction. Yeah. They're contracting down. And I know it. I think that I'm a pretty confident person, but I was having the same thing, and I didn't understand it. But I just knew that I needed to, and I wanted to, because I knew that people would get change.
I feel like for me, the tool that I give is getting in touch with your higher self, your future self, because
Ah,
that when
yes.
experience happens, and I teach it in a way where you already have an idea of what your future self looks like because it's you, right? 3 years from now, that's doing what you would want to be doing. So you have an idea of what that looks like. You usually can get an image right away.
Yes.
And then this is how I teach guides. Like I would have my higher self stand in a specific spot all the time. So
Oh,
mine was to the right for some reason. So that way you build an energy and you trust the
I
community.
love that.
And
I've
then
never heard that.
doing your dishes or you're walking outside and you have a question for your higher self. It's usually, even if it's an inner dialogue, but when you're putting the intention there where
I
they're
love
standing,
this.
you're
Uh-huh.
able to receive information, and that'll help to dissipate and dissolve the energy inside.
Uh-huh.
Cool about that is I teach this technique called the dot 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 technique, where you don't always get an answer right away, and you're not going to, because there's so much more. So the dot 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 technique is, say all of a sudden your higher self just gives you the color blue. And you don't put a period at that. You just feel into it. Like, what does blue to mean to me? Blue is destiny, actually. What does blue mean for me? How do I feel about blue? What's the blue sky like? You just put dot, dot, dot. You continue the conversation.
Oh.
Solutions flow
Oh,
so
cool.
much easier.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm laughing because in Mamma Mia 2, when the girl is like reading her mom's journal, she's like, I opened the book and heard about the man, and then dot, dot, dot.
I
And
forgot about that
whenever I
part.
hear dot, 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 my brain goes to
But that
that.
is exactly what you're saying.
That's funny.
That
There's
is
all this
exactly
space for
what
all
you're
this
saying.
love.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all this space for more creativity, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I love it so much. Yeah. That's really cute. What
Yeah, smart. I like that technique. That's great. So, I've always kind of not called my higher self the higher self. I'm just like, I'm Jeneth and I'm infinite and I'm an infinite being. But I really do like, it does require you to be in a certain space for you to get information from your higher self. So I do love that you put him to a certain side. And do you see how I'm also putting it to my right as well? Just kind of interesting. Like, okay, you sit in that chair over there.
Well, what helps with that is because I teach about guides and everything, and
Oh, this is fun.
some
Yeah.
of the stats. So, I don't care if it's your higher self. I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's your heart. It could be anything. It could be Archangel Michael. Higher self helps us because most people have a difficulty
Uh-huh.
trusting guidance from like Jesus
Uh-huh.
guide, where they're waiting for their guide to show up and hit them over the head. So the higher self is easier. The biggest thing is the intention of the question and focus, because then you're actually listening, and you're listening with your heart and soul. I just did a whole lesson about deep listening with your heart and soul.
Love it.
So you don't stay in the problem. You actually enter into the void, where it's just where the answers are, which is the dot, 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 which is so great.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds like we'd have so many takeaways if you, to do your work. There's so
a
many.
little bit different practices than most, they're so simple. I love when people come with like these simple things.
Very pragmatic for
Absolutely.
these big concepts and these big things that, well, I do love those things, but I love when you can break them down and you can put them into very actionable things, such as communicating with the energy here. I mean, that's phenomenal. Thank you. What other things do you find is really helping people with your work?
Maybe
I
we
would just
talk
take
about
notes. I
guides,
might as well
too.
just be quiet and like pull
I
out my
wouldn't mind
pen.
talking about guides as well and the connection with guides.
I'm open to talk about anything, and I'm looking at one of I'm not going to say names because I'm not sure, I'm looking at one of the women in here, but I want to say, yes, I do give very practical tools. I'm not woo-woo. I'm very down to earth. You have to bridge the spiritual with the practical, especially in
Yeah.
business. So she said, I love hearing your perspective. Saw you earlier on another summit. I do need to move forward with all the things you just said. So my question to you, for anybody who needs to move forward with everything that the three of us are sharing in our businesses, what is keeping you from moving forward? You have to, and if you don't know the answer to that, just get into the question of it. Because I do find, and it's very frustrating to me, which is why I shifted audiences. And this is not about you, sweetie, who asked this question. I really want to help you. But I do find that I am tired of seeing very spiritually gifted people sit on their gifts. And then hot air people out there that I feel like I'm just tired of. I really want the down to earth gifted people to get their stuff out there.
Guess I think a lot of that is worth.
It is.
That they haven't been brought up knowing how great they are, how worthy they are, how capable they are, and then they can't even get to know their trust, right? We started the conversation where because they don't trust themselves. You said I work a lot on trust, but when you don't even know your worth, you can't even go there.
Yeah.
That's usually how I feel when somebody just, you can tell them, try this, try this, try this, and they'll say things like that. But then inherently, I think that it comes to they don't feel worthy or worthy of it.
So,
I'm just going to let her talk about worth for a second.
Go ahead.
You don't mind, only because I was someone who was raised with a lot of lack of self-worth, low self-esteem, a lot of beating up, being called names, things like that, right? And but the thing that changed for me was a choice. Like, I didn't want to be in the gutter any longer. I didn't want to feel that way about myself any longer. I didn't want to, the universe was bouncing back that experience, right? So enough is enough. So I started putting now I've been in my business for 19 years. I can truly tell you and I was known on telesummits and everything. I feel I only truly stepped out the past 2 years to be seen and heard because I was still scared.
Wow.
Even more because I've cut off, my mother passed in November, which has been very difficult, but I've cut off my brothers recently who were big, knocking me down. Like, I got so done with being knocked down in this world. So to us to finally say it doesn't matter, and it's hard to build that muscle, I get it, but find a good community of people to stand around, because it's up to us to say, I'm not going to believe what you say about me anymore. I'm going to believe.
Yeah.
And it is what stops a lot of people. I agree.
So, I mean, you had all this tremendous success in your life. Do you feel that you were just fighting against them and just trying to prove yourself and prove your worth? Like, where was your head back in the day when you won the Emmy and everything?
I feel like some of it was trying to prove myself, but there is a part of me that is driving, that knows that I'm meant for more. And I went into a big meditation. I have a new guidance system, which is what I teach. They're a little bit different than the other guides that I've been teaching. They've stepped in. They're very powerful. And they basically told me, and not in a demeaning way, because guides will never speak to you that way. They love you. But they basically said to me, you're not where you're supposed to be. You've held yourself back. And that I needed to hear. So there's a part of me that believes so much in these dreams. So I do keep succeeding. I have a book out. I did get like an Emmy. I did get the lead in an off-Broadway play, but something would always knock me down. Things. And now I'm starting to sit in my life like, I'm not allowing that anymore. I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to put it out there. And if it falls, it falls. And can I tell you, I'm brushing up against insecurity a lot. But I'm not allowing it to stop me. Instead, I'm taking all the tools and techniques. And luckily, I have teaching guides that teach me a lot of tools and techniques to walk through it.
Wow.
All of us have something powerful to put out in the world. And it's not ego, but it is ownership of our power and putting it out. And I believe in every single person as much as I believe in myself. So in all my programs, there is no hierarchy. We are together like that.
Right. Yeah. And doing this work and dealing with people's worth, over and over and over again, I've really found that, when they do have a little bit of success, that is often feeds their worth a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have any practices that helps them without having that external like feedback.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm trying to remember the famous person I just read this about. I learned early on when I was getting reviewed for my readings to not take the good or the bad, really gauge it on myself. So I know that when we're doing readings and stuff and you want to get out and practice, but it's not about being right or wrong, because you can't tell you how many times I've done readings for people that they were like, you're batshit crazy. Like they thought I was, and
Yeah.
then they would go away and find out how accurate it was or something would happen. So I try to teach all my students or anybody who's listening, you don't know in that moment when you're working with that person if they're supposed to hate you for a reason, a good reason for their own path. So what I like to teach about self-worth for me is measured against yourself. And I'm going to tell a real quick story because I think it'll be helpful. I did a reading for 2 women, back-to-back friends. So they had similar readings. They had a fit that I was like making stuff up, blah, 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 blah. And I don't offer refunds or anything. And they just wrote a scathing, I think it was a scathing review and an email. And I was so hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Devastated.
Yeah.
And I drove away and my house was doing construction. So I couldn't even like find comfort. So I sat in my car and my guides were like, what was your intention behind that reading? And I said, my intention is always for the highest good. But that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they think about you. So from that day forward, I never read my reviews again. I actually started doing them on Facebook. I started having reviews, and this one woman gave me a bad review and about my product. And I said, what did you buy? We can't find you in the system. I didn't buy anything. I just watched 10 seconds of your video and I don't like it. So that is when I So anybody who's struggling with this, yes, you want to practice. Yes, you want to get feedback. Yes, you want to know. I want my students to have success. But I always have to gauge it against myself and God. To me, it's God.
That's powerful. Yes, and I can even see how Jennifer and I would use that today. It's by no accident that you are here to share some of this stuff because it exactly was coming up in some of the sessions that I was working with people.
I was even saying yesterday, like the Kardashians.
Oh, hang on
We've got
a live moment.
Yeah. You guys, when you come on, sometimes it unmutes you. So let's just make sure that everybody is muted all here and everything. I think we're good now. Okay. So now I lost my train. My train left the station. It's onto your train.
You had that experience recently. I think, okay, well.
Yes, I did. And I don't remember the point of it. What were we talking about right before that? Like literally my train left the station.
I want to talk a little bit about how we work with our guides. While we are immersed in this work, I kind of feel like I still don't know how, and I'm kind of like, wow, have I not seeked this out before? But maybe you have a little bit different perspective of how we should work, and I know you do because I've already got so much from how you showed us to do that with our higher selves.
Which is also on your right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's also on her right. That's right. For me, it's really important that you know your guides intimately. Because a lot of times I hear people say to me, my guides told me. I'm like, people that made really bad decisions. I'm like, your guides told you to do that? And I'm like, who are your guides? I'm like, I don't know, they're just out there. So we can pick Oprah. We can pick someone who's alive. We can pick somebody who's deceased that we know. It could be Coco Chanel if you want to be a designer. It could be a famous writer, Jane Austen. And pulling in that guide and again, knowing where they stand and what they want to help you with. If you're interested in speaking to that guide, you most likely have the permission from that guide.
Wow.
What I would work with is symbols first, visual symbols. And your eyes don't have to be closed. So if we were all like, if I was talking to Jane Austen and say, okay, Jane, I'm ready to write. She's not a guide of mine. Ready to write my second book. Can you show me a symbol? And scan the room, set a timer for 15 seconds and scan the room. And all of a sudden it falls on the water, the spray bottle, and then I had teach people how to ask questions about that particular thing so that you understand what this symbol is telling you. Everything's a symbol. Everything is a symbol.
Wow.
So there's so many ways to teach it. And in business, you can have a marketing guide. They can give such great business advice, such great advice, which coach to go to, what marketing funnel to do. Why did a funnel not do well? You know, all of that. Does that answer that question?
I
Yes.
love it. That's so makes it so much more fun. We often play with our triple numbers. You know,
I love that.
The angel numbers, and we just keep feeling like, hey, we're on path. Look, she even sees a driver's license that's like 777, and she'll like take a picture and send it to me because we just are like, we're aligned here, and that's really been some of our symbols this through this event where we're. But I like the play of symbolism too. Like,
Well, I want to tell you
'cause
what
it usually
777
pops right out at you when you're looking for it.
Yeah, tell
Yeah.
us what the 777.
Yeah.
And I'll say this real quick. And if you're not looking for it, just pick something. I taught
Okay.
a student who was struggling with seeing. I said, pick a symbol every single day. And
Okay.
so 777, 7 for me is all about psychic ability, intuition, growing that part of you,
course.
that soul, that mission driven work. It adds to a 21, which is about partnerships,
Oh,
beginning,
how funny.
which adds to a 3, which is about wholeness, mind, body, and soul. So it's very powerful. So for me, what it would mean is keep following your intuition, keep doing what you're intuitively guided to do. The partnership is extremely strong. It's going to lead to many high level, I'm getting chills with this, like books, branding. There's a lot of brand with this for you guys.
Sure.
A lot more speaking because they're telling me that your storytelling and your communication is extremely strong. They also feel our audience and stuff, so keep listening. And then the 3 is like, this is what you're meant to be doing. You're supposed to be bringing people into wholeness. And your work is helping people to come back to that.
Oh, so excited.
That's so cool. She wears a 444 around her neck. What does that mean?
Okay, so 4s are all about foundations, and it's about belief systems. So right now you probably rewrite belief systems a lot in your entire life, like a lot of us conscious people do.
Sure.
4s are extremely strong because they're building your house. So you're actually building a platform for you to stand
Yes.
on to get your messages out. It adds up again.
Oh.
Well, so you've got the beginning and the partnerships, which is the wholeness. So it's making me, I don't know if you're writing a book or planning on writing a book, but they're making me feel that. But they're making me feel like you cannot, they said there's no stage big enough you can build. You have to continue to stand on it and continue to elevate the conversations. They said that's what you're here for, is to continue to elevate the conversations in the circle. They said don't get stuck with the lower level conversation. They said that's not where you're supposed to operate. You have healing in your hands too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a hands-on healer. They just don't see it on video.
So this is
This is so
only
cool.
only if that resonates. If it doesn't,
Should have just done readings this entire call.
It's absolutely resonating, and especially when we look at our vision. I mean, we are steadfast in what we know. We know.
Yeah, we do know. We know.
But they're grandiose visions.
they are, because you know what I'm getting? I'm getting I'm not going to say who the brand is, but it's a brand that I was watching. It's a very famous brand. It's 2 women. I was watching a reel they did, and it's like they brought in 500,000 this week, 250,000 the next week. They're multiple $1 million.
Sure.
So and it's not only about the money; it's about what they're doing. And I actually
It's about the movement.
what they're doing. Yes,
Thank you.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
so
you
awesome.
so much.
powerful women. We really do.
Say it again.
We need more powerful women.
Oh,
But
yes.
women who aren't catty. Like, I'm so over it. I can't.
Me too. Me 3.
Yeah, I'm all about the non-judgment. Let's just be free. Let's do our thing. Let's encourage each other. If you've got something going on, how can I help? Like, what can I facilitate you with? Tell me the ins and outs. We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no competition anymore.
Yeah.
It
Like,
does
girlfriend,
seem-
I will cheer you on. I will fix your crown. Let's go.
Yeah. Will you take some callers and do a couple,
I
maybe?
will.
Do you have time?
Yeah. Oh, no, I have plenty of time. And first of all, I want to thank everyone. Can I look at the chat a second? Because I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Somebody just said, what does the 5 mean?
Everybody's
we just
like,
go through all the
"Oh,
numbers.
dang."
I actually am have this hoodie, and because I do tongue-in-cheek cheeky things, It has a 7-7 on the back, and it says "Lucky You."
It's 777.
777.
Yeah.
That's the very first Hot Hustle merch that I made, just simply for
Oh,
myself.
I
But
love it.
I think a streetwear merch brand and maybe a higher end brand is also,
In our works.
yeah, probably in the next 3 to 5 years, kind of feeling.
I love that. I think that's
Yeah.
great. I love that. The 5 is about transformation and change. And if you're seeing 3 5s, it's super powerful. Anything in threes are very powerful because if you're reading, I look at it as like the major arcana cards. If 3 of major arcana cards come up in a reading, you're going through a major life transformation, a major change. But it doesn't have to be difficult. It can be actually incredible because people think of change as incredible, so as difficult. So 5s are all about change. So where aren't you changing? Where do you need to be changing? What aren't you doing to change? What are you backing off from? That's the energy I'm getting from the person who asked that 5.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I occasionally will see 5s, but I don't see it as much as the others. I see the 1s, the 3s, the 7s. That's usually mine. And then I see the
You see the
4s
4s
on,
every day?
on you.
Yeah, we have fun.
And
We do
that's
have
the
fun.
way our guides talk to us through
I sense that.
Yeah. So anybody who sees repetitive symbols like butterflies or ladybugs, you really have to know what it means.
Valentina asked about 369.
So 3s are about mind, bodies, and souls. 6 is about family. 9's a soul number. So for you, there's probably a lot of shifts going on in terms of your wholeness and being with your wholeness, and it's in the beginning. So you may have done a lot of work, Valentina, on your wholeness, on your spiritual journey. The 6 is about where are you in community? Who's affecting you in community? Are you in light-minded community, or is there difficulty in it? It feels to me like they want to turn that 6 around to the 9. The 9 is a soul number. It's about a final ending and it's about a new beginning. So you're getting invited to new
Interesting.
places. It adds up to an 18, which to me, this is about business. So it's a new beginnings in business. So the 369 is mainly showing up for business reasons more than, so the 6 is usually a family or community. The 6 is really talking about community. I don't feel like you're getting out in enough community to show what you can do. I don't have any breath in the readings with you. So I know you're not fully trusting. And then the other thing about the 6 is for you is that you, first of all, you need to be surrounded by very supportive people. So you need to get into a community of supportive people. And then the other thing is you need to find your audience. A lot of times people battle, look, I went through this, battle the audience, trying to bring the horses to water. Done with that. So that's what it feels like to me. I want to say something real quick about this. When I do readings, because I didn't know I was launching into readings, I personally don't mind at all.
Okay, good.
Take what you like, leave the rest.
Thank you.
I'm not the master of your journey at all. And I have no attachment to how you receive the message. So if somebody ever says to me, I don't agree, I'm like, that's good. I don't care.
Yeah, that's their point of view. They're allowed that.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's more empowering. I thank you for that. Valentina says, sounds true.
In so many things.
In so many.
I love that. I have fun.
We do have hands raised. Lisa. Lisa, you want to unmute and ask your question?
Do you want to unmute her?
I don't know that I can. I think I can only ask her to unmute.
Hi, I got it. Took me a minute, right?
That's
Thank you.
right.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So, we have our business up for sale, and we're really doing everything, and the building, and we're ready to retire. So, what can we do to make this happen?
That's a great question. I had another client recently going through that. I have a lot of fear around your question. I felt it before you even asked it. You may not agree with the fear, but I'm going to just explain what I feel like it is for you, Lisa. It's like, oh my goodness, this has to happen no matter what. We're done with it. We want to get it going. For me, it doesn't feel like it's not going to happen. It does feel like it's going to happen, but I feel like you need to take whatever brackets you have around it off. And what they mean by that is really like, first of all, Spirit says, know that it's going to sell. That's all they want you to do. They want you to have the vision of who you want buying it, what you would like to get for it, and then you need to surrender it, and then you need to trust that it's going to sell. And then they said in that you need to pay attention to the things that don't necessarily mean like they're directly talking about selling the business. So you might see something somebody may say something like about a book, and you're like, wow, I keep hearing about this book. What does it have to do about me selling? Well, it does. There's something in that it is letting you know. I feel like you're holding around 3 to 6 months. There's a 3 to 6, but I could be off on timing. For me, it's about you just really knowing that this is a done deal and that you're already in the future of it, and that you don't need to do, they're saying you don't need to do as much as you think that you need to do in order to sell it. So whatever fear you
Right.
have about it selling, I know it's very hard to let go of that when we want something, but you have to let go of it. So this is what I'm going to ask you real quick, Lisa, and then you could respond however you want to respond. I really have no, unless you're rude to me, which I will really, when somebody said I'm tough, I will kick somebody in the butt. I won't take that stuff. But here's
I
what I
won't
want to
be
ask you
rude.
real quick, Lisa. If you were to pick a guide, like somebody who is a picture of success for you, whether they're deceased or alive, who would you pick as somebody who would be like,
Wow.
I just really feel this person's success? Who is it?
A guide or like a person, a living person, or
It could be either. It could be somebody who's dead or alive. I don't care.
oh gosh. Oh, probably people that I've known in business. Are you there?
Yeah. So let me
Oh,
ask
I
you
thought
this. So somebody that you pick in business, you don't have to say their name. Do you have enough clarity with that? Or do you have some type of like, is it somebody that you could really say, wow, I feel no anger towards this person. I feel no judgment towards this person. I feel completely clean. Do you have someone
yeah.
like that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Pick that person. And I want you to talk with that person every day inside your heart and ask them what you need to know about selling the business, but do not look for an answer in the moment. Just be in the energy of selling of the business. And I don't want you to ask from the wanting place. Just be like, what do I need to know about selling the business? What do I need to prepare for myself? How do I need to be? But I don't want you being crazy about it. I just want you to be in, wow, what am I going to do when I sell the business? Oh, what can I do today now that I've sold the business? I want you to just play with it. Does that make sense, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. I've been doing that. What I'm
Good.
doing around my house, all these projects, what, I want to travel to. And yeah, we're just living in it, but you're right. I want to sell it probably too bad. I'm probably too attached to wanting to sell it.
You're going to sell it. So I'm just going to tell you that. And you may be too attached to it. What's happening in your attachment is you might be missing a seller, a buyer.
Right.
You might be
No,
missing a buyer.
nobody's looking and it's a great price. And I don't want to jinx it at all. And I'm probably overthinking it. I'm,
Yeah.
obsessed with selling.
Okay. So that's good to know. So just know that it's selling, but then I want you to think out of the box buyer wise.
Oh, I've been doing that. I mean, I talk to people and I'm like, oh, you should maybe buy this, right? And
Yeah.
I
But if
have a
you're
realtor.
right. But if you're coming from, you should maybe buy this, that the should is showing me that there's a little bit of tightness.
Oh,
So
okay. And we don't want that.
just hold. So then I'm going to ask you, it's great that you've already been doing all this. So I'm not going to say that. So I'm just going to ask you to hold on. It's sold. That's it.
Yeah,
And
thank you. I'm
anytime
sitting
you
here with my husband too. My
good.
husband, and we're both invested in, he's ready to go too.
No, I know you both are. So just want you to hold. It's sold. I'm going to tell you it's selling this year.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So whenever you talk to somebody about you should buy it. So this is another thing you learn in sales, assume the sale. Never question the sale, assume the sale. Anybody you talk to, assume the sale. They're buying it. They'd be
Right.
crazy not to buy it. Okay. Try that, Lisa. I know you're already doing a lot, so I send you a lot of love and thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much. You made my day. It's my birthday on Wednesday, so
Happy
that was a nice
Birthday.
present. All right. You guys have a great day.
Thanks
Bye.
so much. That was a great question. And we have another Lisa who has a hand raised. So our other Lisa, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I don't turn the camera on. There's just a lot of busyness going on in my background right now.
No worries.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I have a question, and I'm really been trying to figure out how to phrase it and make it simple. Um, all right. Long story short, some of you may remember me. I was on here yesterday talking about healing MS.
Hmm.
So long story short, I began a journey of healing MS and clearing my body of a lot of heavy metals and viruses and bacteria. In that process, I also went down an awakening path and started getting messages from guides for people, for me, hearing different messages, not hearing actually audibly, but it's kind of like a message bubble in my mind. I don't know how else to say it. My guides are texting me mentally. That's
Okay.
but the question is, so I didn't believe in any of this stuff spiritually 6 years ago. I didn't believe in any of it. I believed in God. I believed in afterlife, and I was Christian.
Okay. So what's your question?
My question is, the messages that I've been getting is that I am supposed to be doing readings for people and that I need to have more faith. Now, this has been through readings that I've actually gotten from people.
So
And
so your question is whether you should be doing readings or not?
well, my question is, I was told in a reading that I needed to just go for it and set up a website and get started and it would come. Then also that I needed to stop working my job that I was working.
No. I can't. I'm
Every,
sorry.
well, the
Lisa,
website is already set up.
well, good. No, but let me just say something real quick, okay? And I would love to know what Janeth and Lucinda think of this, but this is what I want to say, Janeth, I keep doing that with your name. I'm not saying that that's not true, Lisa, but be careful of going to any reader that gives you such definitive advice, and be careful of taking that advice. You must have felt a truth in it. I'm not saying she was wrong. I'm not saying she's right, because you took the truth of it. I would never tell you as a coach to leave your job in order to do something unless you had enough income that you could sit on. I would just tell you to go out and do readings, because websites don't necessarily, yes, it shows a professional side. It shows that you are being professional. Now, if you're asking me whether you should do this or not, don't ask me, ask yourself and just do it. Because to me, there is no question in my mind that you are obviously, I'm so sorry you're going through the health stuff, and I will not speak to health. I am not a health medium and I don't go near it. But what I would say is you probably went through what you're going through health-wise so that you could discover these awakenings, all these gifts that you have. But
I
the reason,
believe that.
go ahead, sweetie.
So, well, it wasn't just, it was multiple readings. It wasn't one person.
I
It was
understand
multiple
that. But
different
why do
people.
you have to keep I'm sorry, this is where I get very tough. Why do
I
you
can
have to
chime in
keep telling
too.
me? Yeah, why do you have to keep telling me that all these readers are telling you that? Because you don't believe it. You believe it.
No, I do believe it. What I'm trying to say actually is I did stop working. I only was working part-time, and all the signs just started pointing to this is not the right thing for me. So I stopped in April.
So what's the
No,
question, Lisa?
and I've done multiple readings for people for free. The question is, now I don't even remember my question.
I'm sorry, I'm very tough because I don't
It's
let people
okay.
get into story. I want you to get into clarity. And I believe in you.
The
So
question.
you can end up hating me after this call. That's okay with me.
Oh no, I won't. I've watched your videos. I'm not going to hate you. I just forgot what my question was now because
Take a moment right now, honey. Just breathe. Let's all breathe. I don't want you to get off this without having that question, but think of that question in one sentence, okay?
yeah, that's what messed me up was
That's
going.
okay, sweetie. Just take a breath right now. Let's not worry about it and just come up with your question. It's going to help somebody else.
The question is, I did stop working. I was only working part-time, and I fully believed that it was going to be okay. And now I'm not feeling that anymore.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's the question. Is it like really in the near field where it's going to be okay, where I'm going to see the next steps? The answers I need to know what my next steps are. What are my next steps? Can you answer that question?
Yeah, I can answer all those questions. And
Okay.
Jen, there's something that you wanted to.
Well, I just, one of my purposes is really to help people know that they know. And I think one of the steps would be for Lisa to ask for clarity around what is it that I know that I might be denying or refusing to know here around this for myself before you even ask for external information in a way. Like, I mean, I think that this is really, it's going to help so many people by you asking the question in the story way, right? And I would first ask you to ask yourself, what is it that you know that you might be not saying it's okay for me to trust this knower within? And then I'll let Marilyn kind of put in her 2 cents around it.
So Lisa, my thing, it's not about, I love what Janet said, totally, because she's right about that, because this is why anybody who's growing a business, you need all these components, but then you also need to get clients and you need to know how to get clients. And if you're questioning whether any entrepreneurial journey is like this, it is up and down, up and down, up and down, no matter what level you're at. And on the down moments, when you're not getting the influx of clients or you don't know how to get clients, that's when you need to start studying how to do it. So the question isn't, Janet is right. The question is, I'm doing this. I'm choosing to do this. I am going to be a reader now. Now, what do I need to do to get clients? Because if you sit in the back and forth, then spirit's just going to sit in the back and forth with you, and the universe is just going to bring you back and forth, and never bring you a client. You have to decide. You already did. You built a website. I'm going to do this for a living. That's it. Now I have to work on getting clients. So now you have to learn marketing.
Right.
I don't know why people think like you decide to do something and then all of a sudden it's not like that any longer. It changed a lot since 2020. We have to go out and and people have to know you exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can do it. You can do it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sending you love. I'm glad you know me, so you know I'm tough. So that's good.
And Lisa, keep hanging around, because if nobody else can help you get to finding all of you and knowing you, it's probably us, because we've not really felt our knower until we really had to go down that journey where we were asking these questions, and it takes time to get to know your knower. And it gets time, I find that people can hear guides and messages even for others before they even know themselves. So maybe your first client is yourself.
Exactly.
Really talk to your higher self. Yeah, I mean, we just learned that from Marilyn. Put him in the chair over on the side here and say, hey, tell me. And maybe you practice that, and I think that'll actually probably help you develop your story.
Also,
and heal your body.
What Janet was also trying to say, and also Marilyn, is that you need to be able to discern what the messages you're receiving. You still are relying a lot on your external guidance. For when you go to different people for readings, you're still relying only on your externals, and so you really need to strengthen that conversation with your guides and know that you're getting that information, and specifically for you. Everybody has the ability to get their information. We just have to be able to now to learn how to discern. You can use the tools that Lisa did. I'm sure she's got more tools for being able to hear clearly and know that we're getting that information, and then being able to put action behind that. But when we keep going outside of ourselves is where we can kind of lose our pieces.
Yeah. Marilyn, is it okay if Manisha asks a question about relationship?
I want to just say something first that I think is
Okay.
and this is why this is why I teach people how to read for themselves and how to do
Yes.
it. Please, please, please. Obviously, Lisa went to readers and a bunch of readers told her that she's a reader. And then she stepped out in a beautiful way, Lisa, which I commend you for and I celebrate you for.
Yes.
Stop taking advice from outside people. I don't care who they are. I love what Janet said. Your first client is you. Take advice from you. So sit down with the part of you and ask the part of you, how can I get clients? And Lucinda's right too. If you're just getting bubbles, then you're not getting clear information. And I'm sure you're a good reader. I don't have a question about that. I never have a question about people's gifts. I have a question of how they get in the way of their gifts. So I just say this to everybody because I see too many readers out there. There are great readers out there and there are really bad readers out there. I do not go for readings. Learn how to read for yourself. Okay. Sorry, I just want to say that.
And I think then this, even when you do get a reading, you've got to tap into you and say, is that true? And is that true for me? Because I have had readings. It's like, I don't think so, but that's okay. You keep thinking you're good at this.
Yeah. I always told people when I used to do readings, I'd say, take what you like, leave the rest. You're the master of your journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good luck, honey.
Where I felt like it was the biggest, clearest message I heard was that I'll be restoring hope to the hopeless. And that was
good. I love that.
That was for me. And that's my story is the beginning of that. I healed MS.
Yeah. Well, I think that alone is something, maybe that's what you focus on instead of the readings. I mean, how many people would love to know your path and what you did for that?
Yes.
Just share the story. I think that would probably be the best place to start it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that could be big.
Reach out to me. I can help you.
Yeah. My sister-in-law is struggling with it. So if you need if you want a story, if you have a story that you share on YouTube, send it to us and I'll send it to her. And maybe you have your first client just like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't mean to take up so much time, and I'm sorry.
No, this has been great. It is a contribution to the whole. Where we went was such a contribution to everyone. It was fabulous.
And you're very vulnerable, so thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Manisha wants to ask about relationships. Marilyn, how are you doing on time? Because I would like to spend a few minutes talking about your special offer.
Let's talk about the offer first, and then we can take Manisha. That's what I think would be a good idea.
Great. I'm going to go.
Now that I'm more familiar with your work in this call, I'm like kind of giddy. Like, my gosh.
I know it's fun this way.
Yeah.
It's funny that the more I've listened, the more I'm like, I know I've listened to you before too. Like, but I didn't really realize it at the very beginning. Which
I think
weird.
we're very aligned, the three of us, which is
it's great.
I do get that too.
Yeah. So this is 10x Your Life. What is the URL?
Sure. It's
yes, it's
you want to drop
W here. Yes, thank you. It's in the chat. Hold on just a second. I usually am pretty good about putting in the chat.
Yeah, and it's funny, they must have changed the product page. So I'm like, oh, my team changed the product page.
Oh, this is so we make everyone a page.
Oh, okay, great.
Just so they all look the same and people feel more secure about purchasing through the page.
Great, because I was like, I don't know this product page. So this is a digital class. It's 10x Your Life. It's 4 modules. You're going to get in touch with your higher self. You're going to get really crystal clear on goals. There's a domino goal, a main goal that most people, once you clear up what that goal is, everything else falls into place. So you're going to learn, if you can go through the modules, because I channeled this class a while ago. It's a foundations class, your gateway to transformation. Module 2, you'll really start thinking about your dreams and what it is you want. 3, you move into the paradigm of yourself, which is where a lot of you, like the woman who was Lisa, who was trying to sell, and Lisa, who's trying to do readings. When you move into the new paradigm, the new identity of who you are, the new identity, not the story. That's why I kept cutting Lisa off, even though it's a very sad story. When we get stuck in the story of the past, we don't move forward. So it helps you to move forward. And then the 4th one is like implementation, motivation, and commitment. And people really, really love this class. And then there's a Q&A session in it. This is digital. And you're going to really enjoy it. Everybody who's taken it has gotten a lot from it. I 10x'd my life 2 years ago, and I've been still 10x'ing it. And so you're basically going to learn how I did that by taking this class.
So how long are each of these modules on video, or
They're
and
on video.
how
You'll go.
about how long you think they
They're
are?
about an hour each, I
Okay.
believe, an hour to 90 minutes, and I believe they have a workbook. So I'm
Uh-huh.
usually put a workbook with everything that we do.
And this is good.
I'm
Yeah.
sure just
Yeah.
talking with you, you're so savvy. You totally have, walked your walk, talked your stuff, and had lived this journey and all of the information that you're putting here. And basically, it's like, we get a full-on case study, but not a case study, but like this is the culmination of.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Your work.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this real quick because I'm just texting my assistant because I'm confused about something. So I 10x 2 years ago. I stopped selling two of my biggest selling programs because I just couldn't do it anymore. And I completely shifted my life. So those of you who are like feeling that experience of it's not working or why isn't it working? It's because you're being called to something greater. And my whole team fell apart. You can listen to my podcast, Who Can It Be Now? A Year in My Life in 2022. The things that went on were crazy. And if it wasn't for this work, I wouldn't be talking to you two today.
Wow.
It was that bad. It really was anxious and scary, but I couldn't help but change. I couldn't help but grow. So actually, Jess is calling me, but I'm still on the.
It's okay. Did you? Let's see. If you have an example of the page that you're most accustomed to seeing.
No. This is perfectly fine.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
I just want to be sure of something.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
So it's actually, you're going to love it. Everybody loves it who takes it. So it's not going to hurt you, my poor assistant. Okay. There you go. That's it.
I like it. I like that you're tough, as you put it.
I like that too.
It's like straightforward to the point. Here it is, black and white, real badass energy that you put forward. I really, the more we've had a conversation here, I just really enjoy it because I'm like, dang, she is a badass. I mean, I think for you to just call somebody out in that way, when we're trying to, refine, people just in this world try to make everything a little more refined, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think that,
we're really being called to step up and be the full expression of ourselves. And if we're playing too far, and this is nothing on anyone that's on this calls or anything, but I think that from your examples and from what you have shared with us, that if you're playing too far from where you're supposed to be, then there's got to be a level of like, okay, let's hold ourselves to that higher standard, but let's get here faster. So I'm gonna dive in deep, and I'm gonna hold you to that because I know you showed up here to be the better version of yourself. And look, this is what I do, and that's why I love that you're the advocate of the 10x, because to 10x yourself, I don't think people realize 10x is not you're not just
doubling.
This is an exponential widening of your entire whole self. And so to get there, you have to be able to get really clear and have that level of toughness, not even from just the coach that you are going to be on the calls or on the course, but to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we can hear it from you, right, like this, and you can ask those harder questions and get us to zero in on those things that we most desire, plus put in actionable plan, because I saw I helped write some of that copy that was there that was yours. Then we have those tools in our toolbox to have that life that we most desire. And I think that's what you really are putting forth here today. And I applaud. I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, sign me up because I need to be tougher. Well, I like that. I mean,
gosh, we've
I
been
want that.
like working on being energetically this vision to host a bigger audience, to get our systems working, like the whole shebang. And we're determined in a way. I mean, I don't like that because it sounds so hard, but I feel that you, in your work also, Marilyn, you can correct me if you're wrong, but there's like this determination to create.
Yeah, there is, and there's also a determination to get people. It's everything you guys said, and I could just repeat it. There's a determination to get people to stop stalling, stop dabbling.
Like, yeah, we one life here,
Yeah.
you know, and
And
yeah.
go ahead. And I was reading, a friend of mine's a pretty famous author, and I was reading her. I never went to her Amazon page, and she wrote, "I found it was better to fail at trying something I love than succeeding at something I hate."
I love that.
Right.
And she wrote it better because she's a writer, but it's like I've been doing this for like 18, 19 years, and I just cannot watch people anymore sit on their gifts. I just refuse to do it. I am the person out here that's putting my hands on your back, probably shoving you. So I tell some of my students that come in, I'm like, you're going to have a boot print on your butt, but there's going to be a big heart on it. Only sometimes, because I care and I can see people's expansion more than they
Sure.
can. So, and by the
Yeah.
way, Lianka, I was calling you Lucinda and somebody called me out. Thank you so much, Berkeley. If I'm saying your name,
Oh,
That's
I
good.
really
yes.
appreciate that because I get lost in names. I only know energy.
I gathered
That was
that.
funny
so
because I got
that.
lost in your last name at the beginning. I
don't
literally
care.
asked you, and then I was like,
You said it wrong
messed it
again.
up. And I was
that's
like,
why I was like, oh, we'll be good. I can be Lucinda, and I've been that before too. So I was like, I heard you say that, so I was like, we're fine.
I'm so sorry.
No,
we're just
great.
spirit anyway.
Yes.
We don't need
I
to
already feel like I
identify
know
with
you,
these
so-
names.
Yeah. Well,
So-
everyone, thank you so much.
Wait,
yeah.
can we? Manisha's been waiting, and
Oh,
she
yes.
haven't texted me personally. Can we just take that
Of
one
course,
last
of
one?
course.
All right, Manisha, you're up.
Hi, Manisha.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for this amazing call. And I love what you said about moving into a new paradigm of myself. So that's what I'd love. I'd love to,
You want a life
see,
partner?
yes. So, yeah, I've had stories
I can
in the
tell.
um, well, just one line and then you'll understand. I was married to a man. My first betrayal was, he was gay. So I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
And lots of health challenges to bottle up emotions. So this has been going on for, I think I married, so I'm 65, okay. So I married when I was 20. So a long time ago, but I've been alone for a long time. So that's why I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So real quickly, first of all,
Mhm.
a lot of times when I used to do readings, people wouldn't even ask, you wouldn't even get to tell me that much. And I'm going to tell you right now, just by tuning into you, there's a few things going on. First of all, you have a beautiful heart and soul. Absolutely stunning. It is very caring. It's very compassionate. It holds a lot of space for a lot of people, probably too many people at times.
Yes.
Some of what they're telling me is that you need to really, my legs are crossed. Anytime my body is crossed. So there's a little bit of first chakra, second chakra trauma that I would like you yourself to work through. It's vulnerability. I have a feeling that Bianca and Janice have something to say to this as well. But so what I want you to do, yes, relationship is a possibility. Relationship is more than a possibility, Spirit said. People said that Spirit is telling me like, okay, I understand that's a real heartache, but they're like, let's talk about who's coming in. Let's talk about the possibilities. Let's talk about the partner that's coming in. They said, you have, like many spiritual people, me included, really, have decided never to get into another relationship unless it was the right relationship. They said, because of that, there's been a journey that you've been on, that you've been working on, but you also have to trust yourself enough to know, that's why my legs are crossed, that you are going to not allow anybody in unless it's a good person. But they said, but you have to allow people in. They said she lets a lot of people in, but he's like out there, or the partner, feels like a he to me, is out there in the fields. And he's like wanting to be seen too.
No.
So they're asking me to ask you, there's a thing called a souls list. So if you go to my YouTube channel and go Marilyn Alauria souls list, they're asking that you do that because they want you to do something new every day. They said it doesn't have to be crazy new. And if you watch that video, I believe it explains it really well, because they said like, she's primed for this, she's ready for it, but he's like lost in the crowd. So I feel like the timing of this is a tiny bit on him, where he's trying to get through to you. But they said that she has to completely trust that she is going to get the person that she's been dreaming of for so long. And they said, please let her know that she deserves that. She's going to get someone who sees her, who hears her, who loves her, who gets your sense of humor, because they're telling me that you have some sort of sense of humor, like you like to have fun. They're like, it feels like somebody who's like, just lets you flow in your sexuality. They said, please get her into her sexuality. It's not about going out and sleeping with people. That spirit does not talk about that, but about the femininity that first of all, that you're 65 and absolutely gorgeous. I mean, so the age has nothing to do with this. That there's a little bit of travel involved in this. So they're asking that you think about, even if it's a day trip, they want you out of your comfort zone. Now, my legs will not come uncrossed. I'm not saying this to scare you, because I can't stand when I hear from people, the reader told me my heart was closed and I don't know how to open it. That's not what I'm saying. But the trauma of what you experienced has affected you a bit in the first and second chakra. Spirit is saying, whether you work with someone or not, tap it out, use some EFT. Even if you don't know what it is, just be like, I am letting go of this story in my first chakra and my second chakra, and I am ready to receive love. Do you have any questions?
Just a couple. Is the soulmate or life partner someone I know that I have like a connection with, or is it someone new?
I feel like it's someone new. So if you're thinking it's someone you know, that person may be a representative of who that person is. So it's someone. So I really want you. This is what happens to a lot of people. I'm going to say this real quick. We dream with brackets on, right? Because we're dreaming from past experience. Spirit said that to me. They're like, take the brackets off. I'm like, what are you talking about? I dream so big. They're like, no, you don't. I want you to know in your heart that he exists, but I want you to try to let go of any kind of memory association, even if it's someone you know. Go ahead, ask me the question. But this to me is someone you don't know. He's a very established person, a good man.
Thank you so much. When you're saying about the first and second chakra, spot on, because of I bottled up all the emotions. I lost. I needed to have total colectomy, so I don't have a spleen. I have a pouch from the small intestine, and other health challenges. So this is my second life. But that's what they're saying. But spot on. Thank you so much.
But you're still sexy as a being, so I want you. Yeah, you're welcome. Did Janet and
it's been amazing.
Thank you, Lianka. Did you guys have anything to say? I know we're like.
No,
we talk with Manisha a lot in this line.
Yes.
And we know she's healing. And I think that I'm excited for her. We can't wait till the man shows up. He sounds like a great guy. One of the things that I used to talk with people about, I joked that I used to help women get pregnant.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I had these, for whatever reason, I was attracting people that were in their like early 30s or 28, 29, and they were working to get pregnant and they were having fertility issues. And I had success with one through like 2 conversations where I was like, how much do you actually spend on nurturing yourself? Like that's where the question started. There was became a little bit deeper depending on the person's scenario. And it took her 2 years before our conversation. And then that month she got pregnant. Mm-hmm. And she said, I spent every morning just sending my body and my womb love. Mm-hmm. And, I really practiced with her in breathing and just kind of dropping her head into her heart and getting in her body. And that was how simple it was. And she, and then the next one it was very similar. I had her kind of imagine a bun in the oven even with it and things like that. So sometimes things surprising can come up if you just really call it in and trust that call.
Mm-hmm. I loved what you said about dropping the story about that. So dropping all the story, any past experience about, and I would insert, I guess it was love or anything she had to do with having a man before, whatever that stories are or whatever our past experiences. And the word I heard was that for me, I heard my spirit say, like, drop any past experiences you've had around business, around how you would reach out to partnerships, all of it. It was like, drop all your past experiences and operate from there. And
Just
I thought,
in general,
okay.
we should all do that.
I was like, okay, I got that.
Then we don't build on the past, and we can actually call in the future instead.
Because those brackets exist around that, and in order to, because I was like, well, how do I open my brackets? And that's what came
That's a
through.
whole other conversation
Yeah.
we could have with Marilyn. How to drop your brackets of the past.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
and
it's so true.
So much. So stop. Definitely don't think of a guy from the past. That's for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And don't try to, even
Credit
bring
to
in,
anything.
try to bring in something totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't even bring in the same frequencies. Wow, Marilyn, this was so fun. Thank you for spending so much time with us. This has been absolutely delightful.
Thank you so much. Thank you to both of you. It was so great meeting both of you.
It's so great to meet you.
Sorry about the names again.
No, that's fine.
No, we felt like it was a mutual exchange.
I'm so glad. And I just thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. So join us next week. We're going to be back for another full 5 days live. These same 3 hours. We start at 9 a.m. Pacific time and we end around 12:15-ish.
So what are we doing over
Pacific
the
time.
weekend?
And this weekend, we are going to be sending you a list of Jonathan Lianca's little tools that we're going to work on from these calls these last 5 days. What are we going to change in our life because we've been inspired by somebody who spoke about it during the series? Where I'm also going to talk a little bit about, hey, come join us in the lounge for $7. Give it a try for $7, and then it's $44 a month. You can cancel anytime. You know our email. It's team@hothustle.com.
And it's $33 a month.
It's 33 a month.
Yes.
Yes. What am I saying? the offer. So all the archives from now to eternity, you buy it once, you get it forever, is $44 a month. You get all those audios if you even just try the lounge, you guys.
So $7, you start to immediately be able to get access to those calls. If you wanted to,
and you get 10% off the speaker offers. We give you a coupon code, and you can just put that coupon code in a speaker offer, and you get 10% off. So it's paid for too,
and then
if you buy other things as well.
And then you'll join us on Tuesday for our lounge experience. And so we're going to go through and we're going to have a lot of fun on there.
Yes,
it's
group
more of
coaching.
a really good group facilitation. We've got the most loving group. And I know that we were creating change there, and I would love to see you bring what you most want to desire and create in this world.
Absolutely.